Ooh, it's the top 5 kill on sight commanders.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Commander Countdown. This is a series where we poll you, our community, on different Commander topics and share the answers. Today's topic is the most kill on sight commanders. Veggie, now we always have a couple of options that we're hoping will make the top 5, but they sometimes don't. What is your honorable mention that you think should have been on the top 5 but wasn't?
My choice is Corvold Fey Cursed King. Ugh. Corvold is a 4/4 flyer for 5. It's Jund because it's gonna Jund. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. And when you sacrifice a permanent, put a +1 counter on it and draw a card.
I'm getting standard flashbacks and cat oven flashbacks, and I'm scared. But why is this why is this a kill on sight commander that you think should have been on the top 5? It seems okay, but it's kind of a slower engine. I find that this is a problem if you can't answer it over several turns.
I like that you said, oh man, I have flashbacks about this card. So it seems fine.
That's in standard when you're going one-on-one and you're not likely to have answers. But in a pod of 4, I feel like we can come up with an answer for this.
Okay, but tell me the things that you didn't like about it in standard.
They would get to do it 5 turns in a row, and I couldn't answer it.
Right.
But if they get 5 turns and 3 people can't answer it, then they deserve to die. You have several turns before this is a huge problem, right?
But the whole point is it is kill on sight. You do not want them to get to the thing because they will then kill you.
But if it's not kill on sight, if they can have it for 1 or 2 turns and still not win the game.
I think I am hearing a very different thing than what you mean to say. Okay, all right. So there are 2 big reasons that this for me is for sure kill on sight. One, when the person gets to use the ability, they get to do it a bunch of times. So it's nearly immediate value. You're turning your worst things on the board into pump and card draw. And this has no limits to it. There are so many ways that this could have been limited. Only once per turn. Non-token. But you're telling me that every treasure that you've built up for the past 4 turns is suddenly pump and card draw?
It could be that it's more impactful in Commander because you can get more treasures and stuff. But I found in Standard, they had to they only had a limited number of cats and stuff. So they had to wait another turn to bring it back. Maybe in Commander, it's just stronger and is a problem.
The number 2, though, is probably why another reason you hate it in Standard so much is because it takes the Corvold player a million years to do all of the things that they want to do because they're like, okay, I will crack 1 treasure. Oh, a new card for me to sit and look at. Okay, I will sacrifice my cat. Okay, that's 1 new card for me to sit and look at. Okay, now I'll put the cat back. 1 more card to sit and look at. And I think I'd be even better with it if it just killed me outright at that moment. They're like, oh, I played it and now I'll do my thing and you die. I'm like, nope. I'll just sit here for a long time and probably die in a couple turns.
Yeah, that's the Standard side of it where it's I have 4 or 5 turns to draw an answer for this. Maybe not 5, but you have 3 or 4 turns to draw an answer and I have to watch you take 10-minute turns for all 4 of them. And when I don't find an answer on that 4th turn, then I'm really sad, which is kind of why I was knee-jerk reaction saying not so kill on sight. But you're right. You build up so many more permanents for you to sacrifice in Commander than you would in your typical Standard game. Yeah. So what a wonderful honorable mention. Mine is going to be the first Sliver. It is a Wooburg Sliver. It's a 7/7 with Cascade, and Sliver spells also have Cascade. Slivers is a scary deck. You can even see how out of control this Sliver gets in one of our more recent episodes, episode 12 with Power Dragon, who absolutely does some pretty crazy things with these slivers.
Yeah, you all have your own Power Dragon. You all have the Sliver person that's but it's you don't, it's I didn't go all out. It's just it's don't worry about it, Slivers. But you cannot put this in the command zone and have it not be a problem because it is not a single card in the command zone. It's like 5 because, again, maybe there should have been some sort of limit to this card, but it's great. I'll play this. I'll cascade into something else. Cool. And then I'll have like just enough mana for like one more thing, which is then 4 more because of that cascade.
Yeah, I love slivers, so I'm kind of torn. It was like a thing I liked as a kid, but they're too powerful now. I don't want to play them. And whenever people play them, I'm just like, ooh, I'm sorry, but we all need to kill you first. So if you want to be the first one to die in a game, pull out your sliver deck. Or you'll end it really fast, one of the two. So it's win-win.
And they're all like, oh, but it's random. It's cascade. You know, it could be anything. Maybe I don't get the good ones. They're all good ones.
And slivers just got a ton more support. Either way, I don't want them casting anything else after casting this, and I think it deserves to die immediately in a sliver bonfire.
All right, maybe just kill it on sight, but like...
Yeah, in a sliver bonfire. Is that bad?
MTG Arson Girl.
So that's enough of our honorable mention, guys. Let's go ahead and get to your top 5, the top 5 commanders that you guys think need to die on site. And coming in at number 5, we have Winota, Joiner of Forces. This is a mythic from Ikoria.
It's a 4-mana 4/4 and has a hefty little text box. Whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library, put a human from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It gains indestructible until end of turn, and then put the rest on the bottom.
Side note, Winota was responsible for my favorite deck name of all time.
I don't know this.
Pawblade. It's around the same time that they were printing a bunch of dogs, and then you just had a deck full of dogs, and they were cute, and they got to do some stuff, and it's the only time I get to play dogs. And it's called Pawblade. Is that not the best name ever?
It's great, and I'm glad that it got banned. All Pawblades go to heaven. That's
no. Why would you say that? Why would you bring back so much childhood trauma?
That's look, if we're gonna be talking about Winota at all, then we have to face our trauma. Okay, we have to confront the terrible things that have happened in our past.
So now we have to kill this on site. I'm assuming these decks have a fair amount of protection in white. This is a tough commander. What is the number 1 creature type that people are running with this?
Stacks. No Winota player is like, this is my fun dinosaur Winota deck. Great. They're like, I put in all of the worst things that you'd never want to see on the board because you can't play the game anymore. And then also some token generators. That's it.
I feel really attacked right now because I was thinking I wanted to build it with a bunch of dogs. It's so mean.
No, okay, wait a minute. To be clear, I'm not saying that those players there's something wrong with those players. I'm saying they don't exist. So please be that person that's like, I got Winota, but it's just dogs. Because then I'd be like, thank you. I'm not worried about some sort of 2/2 dog that says, hey, you can't draw cards or play lands or think about Magic the Gathering for the rest of the game. That would be probably fine. It's just no Winota player does that.
I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be great. And then everybody's gonna kill it on site, and I'll be sad. I'm gonna call it Pawblade just because. All right, so that takes us to our number 4. This one, pretty interesting choice. I think there's a lot here. So let's go ahead and talk about Ragavan, Nimble Pilferer.
Wrong.
A Modern Horizons 2 card.
Nope.
Veggie, you don't like it that they want to kill you in the command zone?
Look, I may be a little biased, but I think this does not belong on this list. You probably already know, but Ragavan is a 1-mana 2/1. When it deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure and exile the top card of that player's library, and you can cast it until end of turn. Yes, and it also has dash for 2.
I don't know. Now that we've actually done a lot more episodes of Decked Out, we're starting to actually have seen these on the show. And I will say, Veggie, you put this in the command zone and you were a huge problem.
I was a huge problem, but nobody killed it right away, and then I lost.
Well, nobody killed it right away, and you became a huge problem, and we had to kill you.
Yeah. So it's a kill me on site commander, not a kill it on site commander. I think this is very interesting that people would vote for this because the card itself is by far the least threatening of anything that we will mention. But the fact that you can consistently play it on turn one and just start doing your thing maybe has some people scared.
Yeah, and especially if you play in a play group where things are a little slower, you're not super competitive, I'm going to get smacked with this thing 2 or 3 times before I can even present a blocker, let alone anything else. So I feel like it is a snowbally commander that just puts you miles ahead in ramp and card advantage, sort of like a turn 1 Soul Ring kind of builds and makes for some of those snowball games that your opponents can't really stop. Not really super relevant to this conversation, but like Ragavan has a 75% win rate for Brawl. Now I know that's like, baby commander.
Never heard of it.
No, it's Arena commander. And this is like one of the best performing commanders. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'll actually give you even more like fuel for that, which I shouldn't. But one of the advantages you just said for this card is that, you're always going to be able to get some hits in. Like there's always going to be somebody that you can hit with this for a couple turns. In Brawl, even you only have a single opponent that is just focused on you, and it is still very good. Yep. So that brings up the greater question of like, what is worse, these super high impact like mid to late game commanders that have huge effects, or just the thing that gets your deck's engine running immediately.
Yeah, I feel like this fits that sort of, anytime you have a game where like, turn 1 Soul Ring was honestly the winner of that game, similar to our Ixalan game. I feel like Ragavan has that same vibe where some games it just does that, puts you 2 turns ahead, puts you a couple cards ahead, and there's nothing else your opponents can do. So I think that is a solid 4. Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Ragavan being in the command zone. But let's go ahead and move on to number 3. And you guys have voted for Urza, Lord High Artificer. This is a Commander Masters mythic.
This is much more like it, people. This is a 4-mana 1/4. When Urza enters the battlefield, create a construct with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. You can tap an untapped artifact you control to add blue to your mana pool. And if that wasn't enough for you, you greedy blue players, you can also pay 5 mana to shuffle and exile a top card of your library, and you can play it without paying its mana cost.
Yeah, you greedy blue players.
Look, to be clear, I don't like this card, and I do not play this card because it is very, very good.
It doesn't fit the veggie trash quota?
Mm-mm.
Okay, fair. What if you played this and put all trash in it?
That's the problem. That's the problem, because you can't. You just can't. I could fill a deck with complete trash. I'm very good at it.
All homerids.
Yeah. And then it would be like, oops, I put every homerid in my entire library onto the battlefield in one turn and have extra mana to spare and have a massive construct and I killed everybody. Oh no, sorry. You will have to now pick yourselves out of the trash can. Like it can't be bad. It just cannot be bad.
I mean, I'm sure one of them will draw you a card and you'll accidentally lose.
Yes, but that's me. The people that are playing Urza for real
are mean
and know what they are, know not to draw themselves out.
Fair enough. I've actually never played an Urza match, so I'm interested to see. I don't know, what kind of cool things are you doing with these colorless constructs? Are they actually the thing that's winning the game, or what's the main driving force behind what this commander is trying to do?
So the win con for Urza decks is yes. You're like, so I wonder what they're doing with constructs, killing you with it. Oh, I wonder what they would do with all that blue mana. Well, they will combo off and kill you with it. Oh, I wonder what they could do with free spells. They will play a bunch of stuff and then kill you. That's why this card is so kill on sight, is because any one of these abilities can get the job done. Best case scenario, you kill it, it leaves behind this massive construct. Worst case, you just lose.
All right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and move on to our number 2 spot. This one is near and dear to my heart, and I don't play it often because I know people don't like it. But let's talk about Toxrill the Corrosive. It is an Innistrad mythic that people hate.
Yeah, because you're right. It's a 7 mana 7/7, and at the beginning of each end step, if only it were upkeep, I wouldn't change anything. At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token, and you can pay 2 and sacrifice a slug to draw a card.
I love the slimy boys. They're so cute.
This card is a mistake.
And there's another horror that puts slime counters on creatures too, which is also helpful. It's very cute. So I actually had this in Yannette. I took it out because people hated it. And then I refused to not put it in my Captain Nagathrod deck because it's a horror. So I feel like if I'm going to make a horror deck, then all's fair. The gloves are off. We're going to slime some people. Putting it in the command zone's mean though.
No, putting it in the command zone, at least people know to plan for it. They're like, great. To the 2 other people at the table, we all agree that we will save like 4 pieces of removal each so that we don't have to deal with this slug. Yes. When it's in the 99, I almost feel like that's worse because you're like, they don't know it's coming and suddenly, oh, everything's dead. Oh, I can't play stuff that stays on the board. And the Toxrill, or whatever commander it is, has drawn a million cards.
So you're saying that the time I hit it off of Yannette and immediately put booties on it was not fun for everyone?
I don't like that.
No. How does he wear booties, actually?
I think he just like sits in the boot.
Fair enough.
He becomes a snail.
The big important part that I want to mention about Toxrill, I always say it wrong, is that there is a sneaky little blue pip there on the end. So even though it is a mono black commander, it has the Dimir color identity. So you get access to all the counter magic and protection spells your little heart could desire. So this is a scary thing. I'm glad I don't have to play against it because I have it.
Yeah. And like you need to kill this immediately. You cannot let the Toxrill player end their turn because that's all automatically the first round of -1s. You are certainly going to kill off some mana dorks or some tokens or something, and generate value immediately from that.
The nice thing too is when you're not playing 1v1, by the time it gets back to your turn, everything is -4/-4. So anything that might have lived through the first end step is certainly not going to be living till your turn. Mm-hmm. That's a crazy card. Let's go ahead and move on to your number 1 choice for the most kill on sight commander, and that is Jodah the Unifier, a Dominaria United mythic.
I will kill this commander every time, every single time. It's 1 of each color for a 5/5. Legendary creatures you control get +X/+X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. That would have been fine. But in addition, whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. You may cast the card without paying its cost and then put the rest on the bottom of your library.
You don't like free stuff?
No, not when that free stuff also pumps all the rest of your free stuff. And like, this is another one of those, it doesn't matter what the free stuff is. When you get that sheer amount of free stuff, you can still kill people with trash.
Yeah, it also has just like a built-in little crater hoof like ability. It doesn't give trample, but you always have to be prepared for your opponent to just play this, get +6/+6 to an entire board. And with Wooburg mana cost, you have access to literally anything you want and the best of the best creatures in every color.
Mm-hmm. Also, this is not even just, oh, it's the one kill on sight commander. Get ready for a full deck of kill on sight commanders that all just cascade out as soon as Jodah gets cast.
That is true. Everything in it is like I said, the premium whatever of literal any color. So little bit of a yikes, scary card to be sure. Is there any super tricky or nasty combo you've seen with Joda in the past?
No, because that would be that. Okay.
Oh, he's getting a little angry.
Yeah. No, there's not, because Joda deck builders don't need to think about that because it's random. You're slapping some cards that you know are good, that you know are problems into your 99. You have practically no control over what comes out, so why worry about combos? Just put in good cards and see what happens, and that thing that happens is always bad.
That is the end of our community top 5. Next up, we have a deck tech submitted by one of our patrons that matched the theme of today's episode, and it is brought to you by our sponsor, EDHRec.
Today's list has been submitted by one of our first patrons, D. Schultz, and it is certainly a kill on sight commander. This list is for Kalia of the Vast. You know her, some of you love her, some of you really hate her. She's a 2/2 flyer for 4 in Mardu. When she attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking.
You know what creatures are the strongest in Magic? They're often angels, demons, and dragons.
Yeah.
And this commander, I have such a fear for. Like, I cannot. If this was not the submitted deck list, this would have 100% been my honorable mention. And I'm honestly have no idea how you guys didn't vote for it. It was not on the top 5 list. But I feel the most strongly about this being dead every time. It never gets to untap or not be something sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will. I agree that it's in this list. I think as time has gone on, its kill on sightness has dropped simply because of what else has been what else they've printed. But we will see if she lives up to the hype.
D. Schultz asked us to take a look at this deck tech a little bit more from a flavor perspective, more than a power perspective. This is starting off kind of crazy, and we even have all the fancy versions of everything.
Oh, that's in. I was going to say the exact the opposite of the first part. I was going to say this is pretty light as far as ramp goes.
Oh, I wasn't talking about what was in it. Just
it's very pretty.
Just all very pretty. Yeah. I was looking at the alternates and the price tag.
The Kalia player wants to be dropping on like turn 3, and with only a handful of rocks here, you probably wait until turn 4.
Starting off, I see one of my very first angels that I opened in like a draft, and that is a Chroma.
You opened a Chroma in a draft? That's very rude.
Shut up! I'm old.
No, I'm just saying I also drafted that set and for sure did not pull in a Chroma, because that was like, I remember that being one of those cards that like blew my mind starting off in Magic. And I was like, "How this is so ridiculous? How could this be a card?" So I'm happy to see a Chrome in any list, because I think she's also been a little power crept since then. But
yeah, just looking at this first page, flavor wise, I will say, I think the Kalia players, I think it's a cop out, because you have angels, demons, dragons, the strongest things in Magic, and someone in set design said, I don't want to choose. And so they just made this commander so you don't have to. You could just play all the goodies with none of the downside.
I want a cycle of new Kalias that are all like the mopiest creature type. Like I want Veggie of the Vast when she swings.
Cephalid.
You can add a Cephalid, a Homrid, or
a monkey.
There we go. Perfect. Blast Furnace, Hellkite, more people should be playing that card. Okay, so flavor check. Bloodthirster is a Warhammer 40k only card. How do we feel about that?
That's a good question. I feel like it's a demon, so that's fine. I think I'm okay with that. I think the 40k demons are similar to classic what you think of demons. Close enough for me. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, if you look at the art, like, you don't see anything that's like kind of takes you away from it. And also like mechanically, like synergy flavor, this is perfect, because unlike something like Karlach that gets the trigger on attack, this is trigger on combat damage. So putting this in tapped and attacking is you're going to hit that extra combat trigger.
I think the only way it's a flavor fail is if it's like a dead, sort of not stormtrooper. What was the what? Space Marines. That's
sure. The other Warhammer thing.
Is that? Yeah.
Yes, I think that is a Warhammer thing.
Oh, that's the one I was going for.
Of course, you have to have the other Kalia in here. So that, I think, is a flavor win, specifically because like it's that is a choice, because you cannot play Kalia off of Kalia. And I don't think this card is like especially good, but it plays really well with leaning into Angel Demon Dragon theme.
I actually didn't know that you couldn't play her off of each other. I never really looked at the creature type.
Now next to her is the mean one, Master of Cruelties, the one hit kill with Kalia.
Ooh,
Very
Terror
rude.
of the Storm Peaks. I like that as free cards coming in all the time. That card is really cool and feels super flavorful with just what she's trying to do. Just happens to also be very powerful.
Yeah, terrorize me.
Is that a Necropotence?
Oh, I mean, it does feel very Kalia, just like on vibes, but I mean, or it could just be good card is good card. Reconnaissance. More of you should be playing Reconnaissance. That's a nice way to make sure you get your Kalia trigger, even if everybody can block her. 18 instants.
What is this? I never know what those stupid cards are.
That's Dark Ritual.
Okay.
You telling me you can't read that?
No.
Yeah, I can't either.
I can't even see the mana.
I saw 3 black pips in the text box. I was like, that's gotta be black. That's gotta be Dark Ritual.
I was working at a booth one time and they handed me a chunk of them. They said alphabetize them.
Oh God.
I told them if they made me do that, I was going to quit.
Yeah, this is a very interactive deck.
Lots and lots of instants. Plenty of removal.
Mm-hmm. You do have some sneaky blink in here as well with the Eerie Interlude and the Ephemerate, since a lot of these Angel Demon Dragons have ETBs that are strong.
You did mention that there is a lack of rocks, but we do have Seething Song and Dark Ritual, so we maybe make up for a little bit in our spell slot.
Kind of, but you can't cast Kali off of those. Oh, that's cool. I had not seen this card before. Outmaneuver, you skip damaging blockers and you go straight to the face. That's fun.
So we have a Vampiric Tutor and a Tainted Pack, which is sort of Tutor-esque, depending on how many basics they have.
Yeah. And that is a specific choice, because you typically only see that card played when it's paired with a stupid Thassa's Oracle, which we know can't be in this deck. But maybe that is probably a big flavor choice, because like Kalia, I believe, has made some sort of pact to have that, like, her non-demon dragon angel
wings
stuff.
Does she fly really well, or is it like 2 people who can't coordinate when they row a boat and she just kind of flies in circles? What?
I know, that's just, I only have that in my head. All right, let's see if that Tainted Pact is set up for full pactiness. No, there are 2 planes. There are 2 planes.
So if your top 2 cards are planes, you just brick.
2 planes, 2 swamps.
Wow.
Wait, where are the mountains? 2 mountains.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, okay. So I'm gonna say I respect this more, because like you're rolling the dice on your pact instead of like knowing that that it's just a demonic tutor. You're just like, all right, I'm gonna try and get what I want, but maybe I'm just gonna get screwed by my 2 lands.
You don't even get the land if you hit one of these back to back. So you really have to try to not like once you hit a basic, you kind of need to pick something really soon.
Right.
I'm not really interested in Tainted Pacting nothing.
I like it, but maybe I guess you see these fetches in here. You got to like grab those basics very quick.
Oh my gosh, more pretty cards.
Ooh. Sign in Blood also seems very flavorful.
All right, that wraps up the deck list. Next up, we're going to go head on over to our sponsor site, EDHRec, and check out a typical Kaalia synergy package and see if there's anything that we see that was maybe missing or something that would be really fun and flavorful to add.
Okay, so EDHRec is going to give us like the most popular things played with this, which I feel like is a pretty short list of cards, to be honest. She always gets more stuff to play with, but like people stick to the same old stuff. So Decadent Dragon would be fun, but I don't know if it is particularly strong enough to go in.
I think the card draw is really cool, stapled onto a creature that you can use. I actually think that's a good tool to have because a lot of the dragons don't have that sort of ability on them.
I guess, but then he's stuck in exile and you can't Kaalia him.
We saw Aurelia and Avacyn for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I saw
Liesa,
because I like that one.
And that's super convenient because it puts all those cards back in your hand to then just be Kaalia'd out again.
Mm-hmm.
So that I feel like is definitely include.
I think that's one of my favorite angels printed in the last few years.
What? The Orzhov Value Angel?
I'm a simple girl, okay?
Okay. I think this is for sure where I draw the line of like, are you just trying to like clap me up with Kaalia or are you leaning into the flavor? I'm pretty positive we did not see Ishin Two Heavens as one in D. Schultz's list because this card is very good in the deck, but is not an angel or a demon or a dragon.
Okay. So you're saying it is more flavorful if it's not in there?
Right. Because
Okay.
it's like breaking your theme just to get a very powerful effect.
Fair enough. And yeah, I don't remember seeing it because I would have thought it was weird had we scrolled by that. I would ask why it was in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So-
keep it out of there.
Excellent. What I didn't see much of was any sort of like planeswalker or enchantment. I don't know if there's anything Kaalia themed there that we could play with. Any planeswalkers that really, incentivize having angels and demons.
I mean, like Sarah feels thematic because like the angel planeswalker. I don't think she synergizes with Kaalia very well, but
We want to find that happy medium, right? Where we want to have the synergy along with the flavor. And yeah, I think you're right. I think this would not qualify.
yeah, I think you could justify it. Like the +2 ability, almost all of your angels, demons, and dragons fly. So that's a little boost to them.
And Obnixilis would also be a flavor thing, but not
demon-y,
great synergy.
Right. And then Dahada is like Ishin, not on flavor, but like the effect is so good that you probably run it if you're just looking to power up.
Mardu good stuff. We're trying to, for flavor purposes, we're trying to avoid Mardu good stuff. And I feel like that is what D. Schultz has done for the most part.
Yeah. You all are playing Rising of the Day in your Kaalia decks? Why? Your stuff comes in tapped and attacking.
Yeah, but it's +1/+0 now.
I'm not paying 3 mana for that.
I mean, what else are you going to do? All your creatures come into play for free.
Yeah, I'm going to keep my mana up to make sure that they don't kill on sight my commander.
Fair.
Well, yeah, no Liliana's contract.
Yeah.
That's like...
I wonder how the story is. How's the story? What's the relationship between Kaalia and Liliana?
I don't think there is one. So that's an interesting... It's like kind of flavorful demons, kind of not flavorful because it's like very Liliana and not Kaalia.
I would say Liliana's contract, not for my Kaalia deck, because I don't think that she would have a deal with Liliana. Mm-hmm. She would have a deal with like Obnixilis.
Yeah, not my Kaalia. We didn't see a lot of artifacts. We saw rocks.
Helm of the Host in. Everything in this deck wants a Helm of the Host.
Oh, good. You mean the thing that triggers at the beginning of combat, right before you put in a giant angel, demon, or dragon?
And then you get it the next turn. It's fine. You're going to have stuff on the board from previous turns, and you get more and more and more.
Yeah, from Kaalia, the thing that is giving you free stuff.
Yeah. And then I get more free stuff.
Okay, so this is just simple math. Free is 0, right? You're paying 0 for it. So 0 times 0 is...
She can't get free stuff when there's no things in hand. And she only has to put one thing onto the battlefield. This now you get 2.
You only have 1 card in hand?
What? 1 per turn, right?
0 cards in hand times free, which is 0.
You're making my brain hurt. I just want Helm of the Host in the deck.
I don't like it.
You always say that Helm of the Host is no good because you don't want to spend the mana on the creatures and then pay to equip it. But if they come into play for free, then you're not doing that anymore.
I don't think it's good in this deck. I'd rather run this Mithril coat.
Did you say Mithril coat?
Yeah. Is it Mithril or is it Mithril?
I think it's Mithril. Tell us, chat. Tell us, YouTube comments.
Some nerd's going to be like, well, actually in Elvish, it's... And then...
We had a pretty good suite of removals in the instance. The creatures looked all top notch. We didn't really see any of the ones that stood out that we really needed. We had most of the headliners. I think from a flavor perspective, we did a wonderful job of keeping this very on theme for what Kalia wants to do and being on brand.
I agree.
All right, so D. Schultz specifically asked for us to do this flavor as opposed to power. So on the flavor scale, Veggie, 1 to 10, how do you feel about this deck?
That's tough because on the Veggie flavor scale, I would give this pretty low marks because I am not a Kalia guy. Not an angel guy, not really a demon guy, not really a dragon guy. But in a bubble, the flavor I think is leaned into pretty hard, and I can respect that. So I will give this I'll give this a 7 out of 10 on flavor. I do think there were some really good flavorful choices made here, and I always like seeing those over just like powerful staples.
For the Nerd Girl scale, I'm pretty happy with it. I am an angel and a bit of a dragon girl. So I used to collect all of the dragons when I first started playing. The first rare I remember opening and getting really excited about was Draco. That was an awesome one. So flavor-wise, I'm super high on Kalia. It's not something I've ever built or wanted to play just because I think it's, very arch enemy-y, and I don't think I can protect my 2/2 very well, but I like it. And I'm going to give it a pretty high score, not only because we stayed on brand with what Kalia wants to do, but also I could tell from the choices in the deck tech that there were some very specific choices in the cards that were chosen, as far as the alternate arts and wanting to keep those on brand, even when just considering the actual art of the card to match Kalia. So I thought that was really cool. I'm actually going to give it a 9 out of 10.
Ooh.
It's big flavor.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that wraps up our deck tech. Thank you so much, D. Schultz, again, for submitting this list and for being one of our patrons. We really appreciate your support.
And of course, a big thank you to EDHRec, the sponsor for this show and the best place to go to help build Commander deck.
And if you guys would like to have your deck list featured on this show for a deck tech, make sure you head on over to our Patreon where you can unlock other exclusive perks like signed tokens from the cast and crew, get into some spell table games with us, submit deck lists for this, or for us to play on Decked Out.
And of course, if you liked the video, click like. If you really liked it, hit subscribe. That's all for today. We'll see you next time on
Commander Countdown.